Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Live from Yellowstone. Rabbi Isai, once again, we have more than a full Amud. The very large Amud Aleph, Tzadik Beis, is all Agadita. And we have to finish up like 18 lines of Tzadik Aleph, Amud Beis, in Agadita. And then we have, Baruch Hashem, we're going to get back to a little bit of Gid Hanasha on that Tzadik Beis, Amud Beis. So says the Gemara, Vayomer 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. I lied. It's 21 lines from the bottom. The Malach is fighting with Yaakov Avinu. And he says, he comes in the morning, he says, Shalcheni, Vayomer Shalcheni kol ha'shochar. Let me go. Omar Lois, Yaakov Avinu says, so what if it's the morning? Ganavato. What are you, a kidnapper? You're a ganav. You're worried about the light. Amar loi, malachani. I have to tell you the truth. I'm not a human being. I'm a malach. What a coincidence. I'm around for a long time. I've never said the shira in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Today, this morning, it's my turn. I don't want to miss my one-time opportunity. What a missed opportunity. Your whole existence is to say shir to the Rebbeinu Shalom. You're going to miss it. Says the Gemara, Rav Chanan el Omer Rav. This is a good raya to Rav. The Omer of Chanan el Omer Rav. Shalish kitoy shel malachi asharis Omer shir b'chol yom. There are 3 groups of malachim. Each one says shira on a different day. Achas Yomer is Kadosh. One says it's Kadosh. Achas Yomer is Kadosh. And then the second one says Kadosh. Achas Yomer is Kadosh. Hashem Tzvakos. Now, if we look at these 3 words, Kadosh, Hashem Tzvakos, so the name of the Rebbeinu Shalom of Hashem comes after the word Kadosh, which is the second word. One word Kadosh, and then comes Hashem. Meisvei. Oh. So it seems like, okay, it's a right to Rav that the Malachim say Shir once in their lifetime. The problem is, Chavivim, Meisvei Chavivim, Yisrael from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Klal Yisrael is beloved in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yosim HaMalachi HaShoris, more than the Malachim. She Yisrael Yom Shir B'chol Shah. A Jew could give shvach to the Rebbeinu Shalom any minute he wants, any moment, all day long. U'Malachi HaShoris and Yom Shir Elo Pamachas B'yoyim. And Malachim only give shira once a day. V'amrilo Pamachas B'Shabbos. And some say once a week. And some say only once a month. Only once a year. And some say only once every 7 years. And some say once every 50 years. Only one time in their entire existence. Another thing, why are Klal Yisrael more beloved? You could see, because all Klal Yisrael have to do is they have to say the words Shema Yisrael, and then they say Hashem's name. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Shenema Shema Yisrael Hashem. U'Malachi HaShoros Maskirim Hashem Elolach Shalosh Teivos. But a Malach must say 3 words, Kadosh, 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 and then only then Hashem Tzvakos. Oh, so how could you tell me that the Malachim from the 3rd group, they say Kadosh Hashem Tzvakos, only one time Kadosh. You have to say, in order for them to say Hashem's name, they have to say 3 words beforehand. In addition, sorry, did I skip? Kadosh 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 Hashem Tzvakos. And the Malachim above cannot say Shira until the one Klal Yisrael says Shira down below. Shenemar. Biron Yachad Koich V'Boker. V'Hadar. After that, V'Yiriu Kol B'nei Elokim. Then come the Malachim. Elachas Yomer is Kadosh. V'Achas Yomer is Kadosh. V'Achas Yomer is Kadosh. Kadosh Kadosh Hashem Tzvakos. So we have to change it. It's not that one says Kadosh, the second one says Kadosh, and then the third one says Kadosh Hashem Tzvakos. Rather, the first one doesn't even say Hashem's name. The first group says Kadosh. The second group says Kadosh, Kadosh, twice. The third group, they don't say Kadosh Hashem Tzvakos. The third group says Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzvakos. So you see that Klal Yisrael is more important than Malachim because they just say Shema Yisrael 2 words, and then Hashem Elokeinu, whereas the Malachim have to say 3 words, Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzvachos. Ask the Gemara, Vayike Baruch. What about Baruch, Kvoid Hashem, Mimkoimoi? So they say 2 words and then Hashem's name. Baruch, Kvoid, Hashem. Just like Klal Yisrael. They don't have to say the 3 words. Daf, Tzadik Beis, Omid Aleph on top. Baruch, Oifanim Udamerle. Our answer is it's not Malachim, Oifanim. Oifanim are a higher level, Inachanami. We're talking about Malachim. Klal Yisrael versus Malachim. Once a Malach has Rishus to say Hashem's name after he said 3 words, then he could say Hashem's name after 2 words. We're going back to Yaakov Avinu. It says in the pasuk in Navi, Vayosar el Malach vayuchal, Bocha vayischan alei. Now vayuchal, that he beat him. Who beat who? Yaakov Avinu. Vayosar is a lashon vayovek, that they struggled, they hugged. Vayosar el Malach vayuchal, Bocha vayischan alei. Any of them minas sar lemi. So says the Gemara, I don't know who beat who's the sar, who's in charge. Shoimer ki sarisa im Elokim have oimer Yaakov nasa sar lemalach. Oh, okay. So Yaakov Avinu won. Bacha vayischan aloi. He cried and he begged him. Eri de'ami bacha lemi. I don't know who cried to who. Shoimer vayomer shalcheini. When the Malach begged to be sent home, so it's obvious that the Malach cried to Yaakov Avinu. Ki sarisa im Elokim v'im anoshim. It says in the pasuk, fought with Elokim. Elokim is a lashon of Dayanim. We always call it Dayan, Elokim, Elohim. V'im anoshim. So what are the 2 categories? Dayanim and non-Dayanim. Omar Rabbo Remez, Ramaz Loi. The Malach gave him a hint. Shasidim Shnei Sorim Lotzis Mimenu. They're going to be 2 greats. Rosh Goyla Shebebavel, the head of Golos in Bavel. In other words, those in Bavel don't have smicha. They're like Anoshim. V'nosi Sheberetz Yisrael, he has smicha, Imelikim. Adayan. Mikan Ramaz Loi Golos, but because there's a Rosh Goyla. What's a Rosh Goyla? Rosh Goyla is the head of the Golos, head of Bavel in the time of Golos. So he hinted to Yaakov Avinu that Klal Yisrael is going to be ending up in Bavel in Golos. Now we're moving on to Yosef HaTzadik's dream. It's a true Agadita, through and through. Ubagefen Shloisha Sarigim. So the Sarah Mashkim dreamt that there was grapes and there were 3 sarigim. What's a sarig? What's a sarig? Sarig geim hayotzim Yisrael b'chol dar v'dar. There are 3 proud sarim. How do you say sarim? A sar. Darlam knows what a sar is. Sarig geim hayotzim Yisrael b'chol dar v'dar. Pamim sheshnayim kam v'echad be'eretz Yisrael. There's 3. So you got to divide them, Eretz Yisrael and Bavel. So sometimes 2 are in Bavel and 1 is in Eretz Yisrael. And sometimes 2 in Eretz Yisrael and 1 in Bavel. The sons of the daughter of Rav, so those 2, officers. Sarah's the officer. Oh, the 3 Goyim, Zog the Gemara Tanya or Reb Lezer Omer Gefen Zehoilam. So now we're going to have a bunch of different explanations what these things are in the dream. Gefen, grapes, are the world. Shloisha Sarigim, the 3 Sarigim. What's 3 Sarigim? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the Avos. V'hi keferachas also Nitza. Nitza is like the beginning of the grape when it's still weak. Elu haimais. They're weaker than the avos. It's a smaller fruit. If shilu ashkeleseh anovim, they ripened, became grapes. Elu ashvatim. These are the shvatim. It doesn't make sense the way you're interpreting the dream. Why would they show Yosef a tzaddik or the Sarah Mashkin? Why would they show him a dream that happened already? Yosef knows what happened. Show him a dream that's going to show the future. The dream is only about the future. So we have to explain that the word Gefen is referring to the Torah. Those are the three. This is the future. He's showing Yosef there's going to be Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Also Nitza, Elu Sanhedrin. What does Nitza mean? These are the Sanhedrin, the 71 Sanhedrin. Every generation is going to have tzaddikim. We still need the he explains the whole dream in one place. So it's all referring to the Beis Hamikdash, Yerushalayim. The three Sarigims in Migdash, Melech, the Kohen Gadol. Those three things, the Beis Hamikdash, the king, and the Kohen Gadol. These are the young Kohanim that work in the Beis Hamikdash. These are the libations, the wine that you bring with the Korbanos. Rabbi Shimon Levi says it's referring to the gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Klal Yisrael. It's an unbelievable gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. The well in the midbar, Amud Anan in the midbar, the cloud that guided and protected Klal Yisrael. Man, we all know about the man, all gifts. So we have a gift called Bikurim. What's Bikurim? When you have the first fruit, we bring a gift to Yerushalayim. So why is that a gift to us? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us these beautiful fruits. He brought us into Eretz Yisrael and gave us these fruits. So what do you do with the grapes? You make wine for the Mizbeach. It's Klal Yisrael. Gefen mimitzrayim t'siyah. You see that the Gefen is referring to Klal Yisrael because from Mitzrayim he moved us. The three Sarigim are not referring to Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, and not Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. It's referring to the three Yom Tovim that Klal Yisrael has: Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. And we come up to the Beis Hamikdash during those Yom Tovim. V'hi k'ferachas also nitza. He gives man Yisrael lifrois v'lirbois. Time came for Klal Yisrael to multiply. V'chein oimer v'nei Yisrael paru v'yishritu. Also nitza, what's that? He gives man Yisrael ligoel. Klal Yisrael is going to be nigal through the blood of the Mitzrim. V'chein oimer v'yeiz nitzcham. Al bigdei al bigodai v'chol mabushai egaolti. This is the red blood on my clothing. B'kitzer the nitza. This is the blood of Mitzrayim. If Shilo Ashkeli Se'ad Novim, he gives manosh of Mitzrayim lishtois kois hatarela. The Mitzrayim are going to drink a cup of poison of nekama, of revenge. Why did the Sarah Mashkim dream about 3 cups of wine in his dream? There's 1 cup of revenge in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, meaning the 10 makkos that the Mitzrayim received. That when Nebuchadnezzar came and destroyed the Egyptians. So that's the second one. In the future, by when Mashiach comes, that's when they're going to get punished for the 3rd time. When Rab would discuss the dream in Agadata, he said it like you. It's referring to Yitzias Mitzrayim. It's all about Mitzrayim, not about the Beis Hamikdash, not about the Avos. Umazu, Klal Yisrael, Kigefen imshla is compared to the grapes. Zmoyer shaba elu balibatim. There's a very big yesod there in this Gemara. The zmoyros, the branches, these are the balabatim. These are the wealthy people in Klal Yisrael that do a lot of chesed, that take care of the poor. Ashkol shabai, the main part of the grape. What's the main part of the grape? The main part of the grape of the vineyard are the grapes. That's the ikar. What is that? That's referring to Eilu Tamid Chacham. That's the ikar of Klal Yisrael. But Klal Yisrael needs all the parts. They need the balabatim to do chesed. They need the Tamid Chachamim. And they also need the Amei Aretz. Alan Shabbat, the leaves, the protectors of the grapes, Eilu Amei Aretz. You hear this? We need the Amaratzim. In other words, we need the people that are going to do the dirty work, that are going to, so to speak, they're going to go plant, they're going to be farmers, they're going to milk the cows. We need the people. Everybody has a job. Everybody in Klal Yisrael has a job. Knoi Shabbat, those little, those vines that wrap themselves around the poles. These are the Oivre Aveira, those who do the Aveiras. This is what they send from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Liboy Rachamim Iskolayo al Olayo. Iskolayo are the grapes should daven for the leaves. You hear this? They sent from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Please daven. The grapes in Bavel should daven for the leaves. In other words, the Talmid Chacham should daven for the Amei Aretz because we need them. They're important. They're important for society. Says the Gemara, "V'ekra li b'chamisha osar kosef." A pasuk in Hosea. Omer Rabbi Yechim Mishum ben Yitzadok en kira el Eloshim chira. Shenemar b'kivri asher karisali. Kira means to sell, referring there to a wife. Shenemar b'kivri asher karisali. B'chamisha osar is the chamisha osar b'nisan. Shaboy nigalu Yisrael Mitzrayim. It's referring, it's a hint to the 15th day of Nisan, the Geula from Mitzrayim. Kesef elu tzadikim. V'chein oimer tzorah kesef lokach b'yodoi. So Rashi says over here, the Sholchulei Amu L'Moydu L'Buchanetzar, K'des Shomon L'Nevim L'Nisnabu B'Churbana, To Achravinu, Shalach L'Hu, Mustafinu Melech Hoy. Says, they sent Amu L'Moydu to Nebuchadnezzar, come kill the Jews, be Machav Eretz Yisrael. So he said, no, I'm scared of their God. Sholchulei K'eru Ish B'Beisoy. He's not there, Hashem is gone. Shalach L'Hu B'Karivas, he's coming soon. Shalchulei, so they sent back. No, he's far away. Shalchulu ikin tzadikim deboy rachmei. Shalchulei tzara kesef lakav yodei tzadikim shebem hemisam. There's no more tzadikim. Okay, so state. What does it say in the pasuk? Kesef elu tzadikim chenu oimer tzara kesef lakav yodei. Now chomer sayrim. Chomer sayrim is 30 saw. V'lesach sayrim is 15. So 30 plus 15 is 45. The world needs in every generation 45 tzaddikim. I don't know if the 30 are here in Bavel, and the other 15 are in Israel, or it's in the reverse. 30 there in Israel and 15 here. They're divided 30 and 15 like in the Pasuk. It says, Beis Hashem, the house of Hashem, where's that in Eretz Yisrael? So the split is 30 in Eretz Yisrael and 15 here. I love this. These 45 tzaddikim, you know where you're going to find them? Not in the Mizrach. You're going to find them in the back where the so to speak, losers sit. It's the ones that you'll never tell. You won't be able to see that they're tzaddikim. That's the point there. They're hidden. The hidden tzaddikim. V'hayin d'chsev, v'oymar aleim im toiv beinechem hovu schari, v'im lo yichadalu, v'yishkul schari shloshim kesef, and they gave me a salary of 30 kesef. There are 30, the righteous among the nations, the 30. That they because of them, the rest of the world, the nations survive. The 30 mitzvahs that the Bnei Noach accepted upon themselves. So Rashi says, I don't know what the 30 are. But the Arishonim, the Ramon Pano says, so our artists put together a nice list here. It goes like this. The 7 mitzvahs B'nai Noach, based on Ula, Vizara, and in Avodah Zara, there's 5 different things. Putting your kids through the fire, Kaisim Ma'anim Menachesh, and then Mechashev Choy V'Chovet Dersh B'Oiv Dersh B'Doini Dersh L'Mesim 10. Gila Raya, sorry, let me go back here. I went too fast. Doing Kalayim, different minim, Sirus, Hakavas Elon, Shvichas Domim, Hakavas Yisrael Alechioi, hitting a Jew, Birkus Hashem, in other words, the curse. These are the 30. Gezel. Dinim Shmir Shabbos, 25 and 6. Ever Menachai, you get to 30. Dam Menachai, Nevelo, and eating a human being is as of the 30. Now, they only keep 3. These are the 3 that they keep. Isa Zachar, Misa Seyd Chavetz HaTorah, Achilas Basar, otherwise. So says the Gemara as follows. Ve'in Mekayim Melashloisha. Now the question is, do they even keep 3 in our generation? What are the 3? She'ein, Kaisvin, Ksuba, L'Zcharim. They don't marry off to Zacharim. Unfortunately, we can't say that that's the case in our society. V'achas she'ein shoiglin b'sar meiz b'mekoilin. When they sell, the first part, when they sell human flesh, they don't weigh it, they don't sell it by weight. I think they keep that. V'achas she'mechavdim b'sar, this one I'm not so sure. If they have complete respect for the Old Testament, the Torah, I don't know. Okay, so now we're going back to Gidra Nasha. It's a Gidra Nasha. So every day we were Zoichet to have an Amud of Agadata. Today's no different. 3 lines from the top. Ve'enoi noyeg ba'oif. Now what? A bird doesn't have Gidra Nasha. Why? Because he doesn't have that round spoon on his thigh. As the Gemara, he does have meat over there. But it's not round. It's not rounded off. Let's see if we have a good picture of this. It's not round. It doesn't have that nice shape that a behemoth has. What if you find a chicken that does have a round thigh? First thing that came to mind for me, it was hard for me to understand the question. Once most chickens don't have, so then you see that the Rebbe Shalom didn't want in that category to have Gidra Nasha. No, the Gemara doesn't understand that way. Do we go by the breed, and that type of animal, which is called a bird, doesn't have Gidra Nasha at all? So this particular bird has a giant, rounded thigh, so maybe he shouldn't have Gidra Nasha because his whole breed doesn't have Gidra Nasha. Or maybe not. Maybe the only reason why birds don't have Gidra Nasha is because they don't have that round. But once they have a rounded thigh, then they should have a Gidra Nasha. And believe it or not, the Gemara says, let's just read the words. Basa didei azdina, basa mine azdina. Teiko. We have to wait until Mashiach to find out the answer to that question. Here's a behemoth that has a rounded thigh. Here's the Gidra Nosha. Oh, that top piece. You saw that top piece pop out? That's the spoon, the round. V'noyeg b'shalom. So we said that the Gidra Nosha is also in a 9-month baby. In other words, a baby that was born in the 9th month. So it's a full-term baby or calf animal. And it's really machlokes whether or not it applies. So when it comes to the fat of this 9-month full-term animal, everybody agrees that you're allowed to eat its fat. Says the Gemara, what fat are you talking about? You're talking about the fat of the fetus. We have a machlokes whether or not you're allowed to eat it. The Gidra Nosha is also in the baby, but the chaylev is also aser. The Remeir says the chaylev is aser. So why are you telling me that everybody agrees that the chaylev is mutter? Where Remeir says straight out that the chaylev of the fetus is aser. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that says the chaylev is mutter. Why? Because the fetus, as we've seen in a second, the fetus is a ben pekua. There's no chaylev, there's no Gidra Nosha, nothing. Remeir says there's no ben pekua by a full-term baby. In other words, you can't be shoichet the mother and eat the baby. You have to do a special shechita on the baby. Why? Because it's full-term. So if it's full-term, chaylev aser, gid aser. But there's machlokes. Don't tell me everybody holds that the chaylev is mutter. And the Gemara explains, the whole machlokes is in a baby that was born full term and it's alive. Remeir goes by his own shita that there's no concept of ben pekua. What's a ben pekua? If you weren't with us, if you just landed here in the daf, ben pekua is when you shech the mother and you find the baby inside. You don't have to do shechita on the baby. Comes Remeir and says that's great most of the pregnancy, but if it's the last month of the pregnancy, in other words, the baby came full term and you shechted the mother, you cannot eat the baby. The baby's like its own entity. Rabbi Yehuda says that you could always eat the baby. So if you could eat the baby, there's no isser to eat the baby's chaylev, but there's no isser to eat the Gidra Nosha. Okay, so it can't be the fat of this baby. So what is it? Yeah. Every Gidra Nosha has fat on it. Showed you the picture. The fat, there's fat right by the Gidra Nosha. That's what we're talking about. Says the Gemara, but that also is a machlokes. One Madama says you got to go deep in and take out all the fat of the Gidra Nosha. So it's aser. Don't tell me the fat of the Gidra Nosha is mutter when you have to go inside and then dig deep to get to all the fat and get it out. Remeir says you go right into it, deep into the meat. Rabbi Yehuda no. Rabbi Yehuda says you don't have to go deep. That's too much. Okay, so Rabbi Yehuda holds that this fat is completely mutter. Just don't eat it because it doesn't look good. Marasayin. So therefore, you don't have to go deep in. Just cut to the surface of the meat. Whatever fat is on the top, just get rid of that. Akapadim, you see there's machlokes, and you're telling me there's no machlokes in the fat. So what fat are we talking about? Says the Gemara, you know what? We are talking about this is what we just spoke about. The fat that surrounds the Gidra Nosha. We just said that it's a machlokes, and you're telling me that everybody agrees that it's mutter. The whole isser is only the Rabbanan isser. The Remeir agrees that it's not asim in Torah. So we have an agreement that this fat is mutter midaraisa. Yeah, Rabbanan said it's asim. The fat of the Gidra Nosha is mutter. Yisrael G'doshim, again, like we had yesterday, such a lashon naga Yisrael. Klal Yisrael are kadosh, and they don't eat this fat. In other words, minat Torah it's mutter. They're makbid. Ma'ila Remeir Domar mutter minat Torah v'asim d'Rabbanan. It's in fact mutter midaraisa, but it's asim d'Rabbanan. So the Gemara Memai, who told you? Dilma Rabbi Yehuda, or perhaps it's Rabbi Yehuda. Avla Remeir midaraisa nami also. Maybe we have a real machlokes that according to Remeir it's awesome. This is going according to Rabbi Yehuda, not according to Remeir. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's mutter. According to Remeir, it's awesome. So the Gemara lois lokadaitach the Tanya gida anoshim mechatet achar b'chol makom shehu u'sham lo mutar. You have to dig deep to get it all out, but you should know that the fat is mutar. That the gida nosha you go deep in, but the fat is mutar. Man shamas leidis nechatita. Whoever discussed the idea of digging deep, Reb Meir becoming shaman mutar. Bottom line, we had a halacha here. Who said it? Oh, Omar Shmuel. Shmuel says that the fat is mutter according to everybody. We established what fat? The fat of the Gidar Nosha. In fact, it's mutter according to everybody. Midai Raisa. Midai Rabbanon, it's machlokes Remeir and review the whether it is Issa the Rabbanon. Omar Rabbi Shmuel. Does review the argue in that on the Rabbanon part? I don't want to go back too much. Meir with the Rabbanon also. But according to review, just the top part is also. Yeah, review also agrees the top part is also because of Meir sign. So maybe the machlokes would be in the deeper part. Okay. Omer Rav Bar Shmuel Bar Marto Omer Rav. Again, Omer Rav Bar Shmuel Bar Marto is Shmuel Bar Marto. Omer Rav in the name of Rav. Lo yasser Torah elo knoiknoi shabai. Knoiknois are the very small, like we just had before, knoiknois of the vineyard. Those little vines that go around the pole, and we said those are the people that do Averis. So knoiknois are the smaller nerves. There's the sciatic nerve, the larger one, and then there's the smaller ones that come out of it. So Rav says, Lo yasser Torah elo knoiknoi shabai. The smaller ones that are edible, those are the ones that are asr. Ula Omar, eitzu v'Torah chiva alav. It's wood. It's not edible, but the Torah says it's asr. Omar Abaya, kavosei du'ulim mistabro. Seems like that it's like Ula, the Omar of Shish, Omar Vasim, chutim shebachelev asurin. The strings in the chelev are asr. Vein chayov malayim, but you're not chayiv. Almo chelev Omar Achmona v'loy chutim. Hachinami gidom arachmona v'loy knoiknois. Knoikis says Rashi gidim dakim aholchim baruch hayor mitachas habasar migid achitzim legidim v'heinin asur if you shein rakim v'noisin tam. Those are the ones that also says Rav. Gid atzmei shu b'roish hashoifi koshu v'eitz ba'almahu. So Rav says that only the knoiknois, because they are edible, like I explained before, and not the main one. And Ula says eitzu. Even though the main one is wood, so and then we bring a raya, gidom rachmona v'loy knoiknois, that the chiyuv of the Torah answered the main one that's wood, that's not edible, and not the knoiknois. The veins in the chelev are also, but you're not chayiv. In other words, they're rabbanan. Those veins in the kidney, also once again, here. So here's a picture of the white veins in the kidney. Loiven kulya, but the white part in the kidney, as you can see in this description over here, picture. It's also to eat that white, but you're not chayiv. You don't get malgus. Sorry, I think I skipped. Let's go back. Here we have machlokes. So the white that you see here on the picture is the machlokes Reb Chia and Rebbe. Rabba says the Gemara, he'd go all the way down and take it out. Rabbi Yochanan also will go deep in and pull it out. Rabasi, he wouldn't go deep down. Whatever is on top, he would take from the top. You don't have to go deep in. You just go from the top. So maybe we'll do this tomorrow. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.